Hi, cutie. We're gonna read chapter 10 today. And it kind of sucks because I can't have my fan on when I read, and I'm fucking smoldering. I'd have my shirt off while I did this, but I sit in front of the window while I read. I sit at the end of my bed. So, womp womp, I guess. Here's chapter 10's photo. It's the silly guy. Those are some cats. Wow. The silly guy is our chapter picture today. This is where that rhyme comes back a lot. If you remember, I told you that rhyme is repeated throughout the entire book. And there's more of that rhyme in this chapter. Oh, wow. Alright. Chapter 10. Coraline walked up the stairs outside the building to the topmost flat where, in her world, the crazy old man upstairs lived. She had gone up there once, with her real mother, when her mother was collecting for charity. They had stood in the open doorway waiting for the crazy old man with the big mustache to find the envelope that Coraline's mother had left. And the flat had smelled of strange foods and pipe tobacco and odd, sharp, cheesy-smelling things Coraline could not name. She had not wanted to go any farther inside than that. "I'm an explorer," said Coraline out loud, but her words sounded muffled and dead in the misty air. She had made it out of the cellar, hadn't she? And she had. But if there was one thing that Coraline wasn't certain of, it was that this flat would be worse. She reached the top of the house. The topmost flat had once been the attic of the house, but that was long ago. She knocked on the green-painted door. It swung open, and she walked in. "We have eyes and we have nerves. We have tails, we have teeth. You'll all get what you deserves." Yep, you'll all get what you deserves when we rise from underneath. I like that that's deserves and not deserve. Whispered a dozen or more tiny voices in the dark flat, with the roof so low, where it met the walls, that Coraline could almost reach up and touch it. Red eyes stared at her. Little pink feet scurried away as she came close. Darker shadows slipped through the shadows at the edge of things. It smelled much worse in here than in the real crazy old man upstairs flat. That smelled of food, unpleasant food, to Coraline's mind, but she knew that was a matter of taste. She did not like spices, herbs, or exotic things. This place smelled as if it... I'm sorry, my fucking eyes are so itchy. It's the fucking call of allergy season, hon. Something you wouldn't understand, obviously. Oh my goodness. Here's when, like, dig your fucking finger into your eye. Oh my god. I'm gonna rub my eye out at this rate. Like, off topic, you ever watch Mark play The Witch's House? And there's a book you can read, and if you read it, it makes you gouge your eyes out. There's your fun fact. Reading a horror book, there's a horror game tidbit. That's what I'm gonna be doing. This place smelled as if all the exotic foods in the world had been left out to go rotten. "Little girl," said a rustling voice in a far room. "Yes," said Coraline. "I'm not frightened," she told herself. And as she thought it, she knew that it was true. There was nothing here that frightened her. These things, even the thing in the cellar, were illusions. Things made up by the other mother in a ghastly parody of real people, and real things on the other end of the corridor. Parody of the real people and real things on the other end of the corridor. She could not take... What? She could not truly make anything, decided Coraline. She could only twist and copy and distort things that already existed. And then Coraline found herself wondering why the other mother would have placed a snow globe on the drawing room mantelpiece, for the mantelpiece in Coraline's room was quite bare. As soon as she asked herself the question, she realized there was actually an answer. Then the voice came again, and her trail of thought was interrupted. "Come here, little girl. I know what you want, little girl." It was a rustling voice, scratchy and dry. It made Coraline think of some kind of enormous dead insect, which was silly, she knew. How could a dead thing, especially a dead insect, have a voice? She walked through several rooms with low, slanting ceilings until she came to the final room. It was a bedroom, and the other crazy old man upstairs sat at the far end of the room in the near darkness, bundled up in his coat and hat. As Coraline entered, he began to talk. "Nothing's changed, little girl," he said, his voice sounding like the noise dry leaves make when they rustle across the pavement. And oh, sorry, I had to make sure I did the right voice. I had to scan forward to see, because I didn't want to do the wrong voice for the wrong character. "And what if you do everything you swore you would? What then? Nothing's changed. You'll go home, you'll be bored, you'll be ignored. No one will listen to you, not really listen to you. You're too clever and too quiet for them to understand. They don't even get your name right. Stay here with us," said the voice from the... Huh? Huh. I want to point this out to you, because that's interesting. I was like, oh, did they stop talking? So there at the start is it's a talkie thingy. Yep, that's what they're called. And then there's no end talkie thingy, but then it restarts. There, threw me off guard. I thought I was reading it wrong. But no, he keeps talking, and then it talkie thingy a second time. Come on, Neil Gaiman, type better. And even get your name right. Stay here with us, said the voice from the figure at the end of the room. We will listen to you and play with you and laugh with you. The other mother will build whole worlds for you to explore and tear down every night when you are done. Every day will be better and brighter than the one that went before. Remember the toy box? How much better would it be built just like that, all for you? And will there be gray, wet days where I just don't know what to do, and there's nothing to read or watch, and nowhere to go, and the day drags on forever? Asked Coraline. From the shadows, the man said, "Never." And will there be awful meals, with food made from recipes, with garlic and tarragon and boiled beans and... asked Coraline. Every meal will be a thing of joy, whispered the voice from under the old man's hat. Nothing will pass your lips that does not entirely delight you. And could I have day-glow green gloves to wear, and yellow Wellington boots in the shape of frogs? Good pick, asked Coraline. Frogs, ducks, rhinos, octopuses, whatever you desire. The world will be built new for you every morning. If you stay here, you can have whatever you want. Coraline sighed. You really don't understand, do you? She said. I don't want whatever I want. Nobody does. Not really. What kind of fun would it be if I just got everything I ever wanted, just like that, and it didn't mean anything? What then? I don't understand, whispered the voice. Of course you don't understand, she said, raising the stone with the hole in it to her eye. You're just a bad copy she made of the crazy old man upstairs. Not even that anymore, said the dead, whispery voice. There was a glow coming from the raincoat of the man. At about chest height, through the hole in the stone, the glow twinkled and shone blue-white as any star. She wished she had something to stick, or something to poke him with. She had no wish to get any closer to the shadowy man at the end of the room. Coraline took a step closer to the man, and he fell apart. Black rats leapt from the sleeves and from under the coat and hat. A score of more of them, red eyes shining in the dark. They chittered and they fled. The coat fluttered and fell heavily to the floor. The hat rolled into the corner of the room. Coraline reached out one hand and pulled the coat open. It was empty. Although it was greasy to the touch, there was no sign of a final glass marble in it. She scanned the room, squinting through the hole in the stone, and caught sight of something that twinkled and burned like a star at the floor level of the doorway. It was being carried in the forepaws of the largest black rat. As she looked, it slipped away. The other rats watched her from the corners of the room as she ran after it. Now, rats can run faster than people, especially over short distances. Pardon? Oh, okay. Any other opinions while I'm trying to read? Mr. Man? Alright, let me go get the door for our son. I hope all these breaks in the fucking recording and, like, anytime the cats interrupt doesn't make it less fun to listen to. I hope it adds to the experience. Because, like, I'd feel bad if you were really into the book and then I was like, oh, Lamau, here's a side plot, or here is a cat. Now, rats can run faster than people, especially over short distances, but a large black rat holding a marble in its two front paws is no match for a determined girl, even if she is small for her age. She's just like me for real, moving at a run. Smaller black rats ran back and forth across her path, trying to distract her, but she ignored them all. Keep your eyes fixed on the one with the marble, who is heading straight out of the flat towards the front door. They reached the steps. On the outside of the building, Coraline had time to observe that the house itself was continuing to change, becoming less distinct and flattening out. Even as she raced down the stairs, it reminded her of a photograph of a house. Now, not the thing itself. Then she was simply racing pell-mell down the steps in pursuit of the rat, with no room in her mind for anything else. Certain she was gaining on it. She was running fast, too fast, she discovered as she came to the bottom of the flight of stairs, and her foot skidded and twisted, and she went crashing onto the concrete landing. Her left knee was scraped and skinned, and the palm of one hand she had thrown out to stop herself was a mess of scraped skin and grit. It hurt a little, and it would, she knew, soon hurt much more. She picked the grit out of her palm and climbed to her feet, and as fast as she could, knowing that she had lost it, and it was already too late, she went down the final landing to the ground level. She looked around for the rat, but it was gone, and the marble with it. Her hands stung where the skin had been scraped, and there was blood trickling down from her ripped pajama leg from her knee. It was as bad as the summer that her mother had taken the training wheels off Coraline's bicycle. But then, back then, it was, and with all the cuts and scrapes, her knees had scabs on top of scabs. She had a feeling of achievement. She was learning something, doing something she had not known how to do. Now she felt nothing but cold loss. She had failed the ghost children. She had failed her parents. She had failed herself, failed everything. She closed her eyes and wished that earth would swallow her up. There was a cough. She opened her eyes and saw the rat. It was lying on the brick path at the bottom of the stairs, with a surprised look on its face, which was now several inches away from the rest of it. Its whiskers were stiff, its eyes were wide open, its teeth visible and yellow and sharp. A collar of wet blood glistened at its neck. Beside the decapitated rat, a smug expression on its face, was the black cat. It rested one paw on the gray glass marble. "I think I once mentioned," said the cat, "that I don't like rats at the best of times. It looked like you needed this one, however. I hope you don't mind my getting involved." "I think," said Coraline, trying to catch her breath, "I think you may have said something of the sort." The cat lifted its paw from the marble, which rolled towards Coraline. She picked it up. In her mind, a final voice whispered to her urgently, "She has lied to you. She will never give you up. Now she has you. She will no more give any of us up than change her nature." The hairs on the back of Coraline's neck prickled, and Coraline knew the girl's voice told the truth. She put the marble in her dressing gown pocket with the others. She had all 3 marbles now. All she needed to do was find her parents. And Coraline... Right, I missed a page. All she'd do was find her parents. And Coraline realized with surprise that it was easy. She knew exactly where her parents were. If she had stopped to think, she might have known where they were all along. The other mother could not create. She could only transform and twist and change. The mantelpiece in the drawing room back home was quite empty, but knowing that, she knew something else as well. The other mother. She plans to break her promise. "She won't let us go," said Coraline. "I wouldn't put it past her," admitted the cat. "Like I said, there's no guarantee she'll play fair." And then he raised his head. "Hello. Did you see that?" "What?" Look behind you, said the cat. The house had flattened out even more. It no longer looked like a photograph, more like a drawing, a crude charcoal scribble of a house drawn on gray paper. Whatever's happening, said Coraline. Thank you for helping with the rat. I suppose I'm almost there, aren't I? So you go off into the mist or wherever you go, and I hope I get to see you at home. If she lets me go home. The cat's fur was on end, and its tail was bristled like a chimney sweep brush. What's wrong? Asked Coraline. They've gone, said the cat. They aren't there any more. The ways in and out of this place, they just went flat. Is that bad? The cat lowered its tail, swishing it from side to side angrily. It made a low, growling noise in the back of its throat. It walked in a circle until it was facing away from Coraline, and then it began to walk backwards, stiffly, one step at a time, until it was pushing up against Coraline's leg. She put down a hand to stroke it, and could feel how hard its heart was beating. It was trembling like a dead leaf in a storm. You'll be fine, said Coraline. Everything's going to be fine. I'll take you home. The cat said nothing. Come on, cat, said Coraline. She took a step back towards the steps, but the cat stayed where it was, looking miserable and, oddly, much smaller. If the only way out is past her, said Coraline, then that's the way we're going to go. She went back to the cat, bent down, and picked it up. The cat did not resist. It simply trembled. She supported its bottom with one hand and rested its front legs on her shoulders. The cat was heavy, but not too heavy to carry. It looked at the palm of her hand where the blood from the scrape was welling up. Coraline walked up the stairs, one step at a time, heading back to her own flat. Voss, give me 1 minute. I'm almost done. Yeah! Silly boy. She was aware of the marbles clicking in her pocket, aware of the stone with the hole in it, aware of the cat pressing itself against her. She got to her front door, now just a small child's scrawl of a door, and she pushed her hand against it, half expecting that her hand would rip through it, revealing nothing behind it but blackness and scattering of stars. But the door swung open, and Coraline went through. And that's the end of chapter 10. 3 more chapters. We're almost done. You excited? I hope you excited. All right, I was like, where's chapter 11's drawing is until much later in the chapter. So if I forget, I don't know, you can smite me. Wow, there's only a little bit left. Wow. Oh, this book is at exactly 160 pages if you don't count the last drawing. There's your fun fact. But it's chapter 10, and we're almost done, and it's poggies, and it's epic, and it's epic, and it's poggies. I got a little sody here. Crime sody. I stole it. I hope you're liking these. I'm still happy that you actually listened to them. I don't know, I'm gonna read you after. I got Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which also has all of them in it. So it's Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, The Restaurant at the End of the Universe, the other ones that I don't remember because I only ever got to the second book when I was reading it. But I could read that. I have other books, but I don't think you like any of the other books. Oh, I have, it's another Neil Gaiman book. Unnamed Creatures. It's a book about, my dad bought it for me. He said it was like a book about, like, eldritch horrors and monsters and stuff. So we could do that one, too, if you wanted. I have all 3 of the FNAF books. We could read through the FNAF. I have all of the D&D books. I can read you the Dungeons Master's Guide. I think we can find a book. It's just a little harder because I mostly own comics and manga. But we'll find a book if you want me to keep reading for you. And then maybe I'll read for you until we move together. And then I'll read for you in person. And that'll be cozy. You can cuddle up. I'll read you a chapter of a book. Maybe we smooch. It'll be nice. I gotta let our screaming son in now, though. And then I'm gonna get cozy. But I love you. Good night.